everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the Gridiron Studio Jungle Hound, and it came in this cool box. All the open box stuff will be at the end of the video. So let's just take a look at the Jungle Hound and let's put it together and see how well those figures fit in. So when you open the box, this is all the stuff you get. So the main chassis comes in one piece, just like that, with all those lights already assembled. And I gotta tell you, man, that looks really, really cool. It does have a little bit of an odor right out of the box, kind of like because it was fresh off the 3D printer or whatever. It does come with these extra lights that will attach to that little bar in the front. They have this little guard for the lights, and you just have to make sure that that groove lines up so you can get it on, and it will click right on that front bar, and you'll have a couple of extra fog lamps. That looks really nice. I like it. It's a nice little touch. The steering wheel and the gear shifter came in a little bag that was in the driver's seat, and here they are. There's the gear shifter and the steering wheel, and you can see inside. Let's take a closer look. You can see in the middle there's a little space for that gear shifter to go down, and you just pop it in there like that. So it's kind of cool that it's a separate little piece that just pops in because, you know, in case it breaks or something like that, it shouldn't. But it won't be like part of the permanent chassis. So it's a replaceable piece. And of course the steering wheel turns and stuff like that, but it's not permanently set. There's no click or anything like that. So you can pull it out and put it back in if you wanted to simulate some sort of an accident where the steering wheel gets busted, or maybe they're planning on an upgraded steering wheel in the future. Anyways, you got this nice seat in the back, and you got this like little swivel piece here where this machine gun will just attach to the back. That is pretty cool. So you got your rear gunner can sit in there and manipulate that gun, and it has an up and down swivel, and it goes from side to side. Now I did make a mistake where it's got these two little pieces on the bottom of the rifle that I thought hinged out, but I basically just kind of broke it from the 3D print or whatever. It does not hinge. Anyways, you got the gas cans that just slide into these two little spots. It's just tension basically, right? That holds them in, and not too much. If you flip this upside down, they might fall out, but they look really good sitting there on the sides. Then you have this gun right here, which will attach to the front windshield, just like you remember from your GI Joe Striker, and it will go right there so this passenger can be the gunner in that position. And it has a little bit of movement, if you can see that. It also comes with these kind of, I guess they're sort of like grenades or something like that, and they'll just plug into the side, and then they just feed out that little slot in the dashboard to look at like it's coming from some sort of ammo can underneath or something like that. That is really neat. Then you got this big piece right here, which is pretty universal. It's the Gridiron Studios attaches with their attachment. It comes with this like missile launcher that will just peg in and fit right there. So you have some missiles as well as guns. And the other cool thing is it's got this little like radar or something like that scope that kind of moves. So independent of the entire thing, that is nice touch. And then you got this antenna array right here that will just clip into there and basically just holds on with like tension from the clip hole and the side. So it just goes right there, and you got your antennas all set up. And then basically you just put it on the top. You can see it's got one way on, one way off. So it just sets in there and slides back into place, and that is really nice. Swivels around really nicely, aims up and in different directions, has a little bit downward tilt, which is really cool. And then you got this like ammo strip that just goes right into the side guns and then plugs into the ammo can as well, so that you can look like you have ammo feeding out of that can into your guns, which make it look really cool. Took me a minute to figure out which way I should put it because they weren't clipping in as well as I would have liked. But this is the way that I got it to fit in perfectly. So it's pretty nice when you swivel the thing, the ammo doesn't pop out. And then of course you got the four wheels, which came separately, and you know they have different colored wheels if you want to like upgrade or something like that. So they just pop on. I didn't get a click or anything when I pushed them in, so it's just tension, but they sat in there pretty well, and I don't think they're going to fall off anytime soon. So anyways, overall, I think it looks really, really cool, all set up. Check that out with the wheels and the guns all set up on their thing. And we just got a couple of things we need to do. We just need to give it some testing, and then we got to figure out how to stick some people in there. But anyways, here is the side view. Here is the front view. And then we got the other side. And then I'll just flip it over so you can see the back and the top. So that is the view from the top. I think it looks really cool. And the bottom, of course, is nothing to write home about. It's just a flat piece of plastic. That was probably on the printer bed. So that's why there's not that much details on there. But anyways, overall, if you have it set up like this, it looks really, really cool. I think what could have made this even better is LED lights or something like that on that crossbar. Would have made that like super cool. The wheels don't turn back and forth, but the steering wheel does turn. Let's take a closer look at the inside of it. Now this is where I think it's really cool, because if you saw the Ramen Racer as basically a sticker, but these are like raised printed like odometer and all that kind of stuff. And it looks really cool. A little bit of paint apps would have made this go a long way. I guess you could do it yourself, but you know, I kind of wish they would have did it like they did with that gear shifter. You see how there's a little bit of paint details on here? Here's the passenger side, and you can see the gun, and you can see the glove box in there, and then you got some buttons and stuff up on the dashboard on the other side. Now, the other cool thing is if you look down at the seats do have some pretty good details in it, which is really, really nice. I'm actually really impressed with those bucket seats. Now, here is the back seat. And the only thing I'm really concerned about is if somebody were to fire a missile up into the air, that guy in the back is basically getting all of the jet wash from those missiles right on him. So they're going to have to be really careful the way they have that thing aimed. Plus, if they're firing off the machine gun, maybe he's getting all the spent rounds just dropped on him. Anyways, I think it's pretty cool. He's got that rear gunner seat. Rear gunner piece, and it's got a lot of movement in it. I'm really impressed. Not like the Vanguard, I thought was a little bit limited, but I think this one really has a lot more motion in it. Anyways, overall, I think it looks really, really cool. Let's see if we can get some figures in this. All right, so first of all, there's my selfie series. That is on an Action Force body, which is pretty standard, same size as a G.I. Joe. I got Roadblock out because he's a little bit bigger. Then I got this custom G.I. Joe, which is built on Grunt. And I'm going to put these ones in the car and just see how things go. All right, so let's start with Roadblock. We're going to stick him in the passenger seat. Now, first of all, I'm going to try to get G.I. Joe Roadblock all set up. I might point his toes and stuff like that and see if I can get his body crunched down a little bit, because he is a little bit bigger figure. I took that rifle off the front just to make sure that I have all the room that I need to be able to get this guy in there. And I know he's got his weapon on his side. That may hinder his ability to get all the way down in the seat, but I can always move that a little bit if I need to. So I'm getting Roadblock in there, and it was a little bit of a struggle at first because he did not want to get under the roll bar, and he did not want to get all the way seated into the bucket seat. But with a little bit of twisting and moving around, I did get him all the way into the bottom of the seat eventually. And let's see if how it turns out. So there he is. He's pretty much almost all the way down. I think I get him a little bit further later. But anyways, you can see he does stick up a little bit. His head is over that little roll bar, so it's not like he's under the roll bar in the vehicle. So if that was like traveling through the desert or the jungle and he hit a bump or something like that, he's gonna clock himself on that little roll bar. So we're gonna stick the Action Force figure with my selfie series in the driver's seat because I like to drive when I'm in a new vehicle. So anyways, you could see how easy it was for me to get that figure in there. And it's seated pretty much all the way down, but still I don't get completely underneath that roll bar. So you can see I'm going to get this G.I. Joe, and this is the one with my custom vintage looking head. I'm going to stick him in the gunner seat because you know the 12-inch G.I. Joes also had a vehicle that was very similar to this as well. But anyways, we're going to get him in the gunner seat, and we're going to put the gun in the gunner position. And he looks really, really cool back there. I think I kind of like it. But check this out. There we are, all in the vehicle. You can see roadblock is sticking up just a little bit higher than I think he should. He should be able to get down there a little bit lower. Maybe if I did something with the ab crunch or whatever, I can get him in lower. But he doesn't just sit in the seat and get low. But he is a bigger figure. You can see my Selfie Series figure does sit in there. But I do kind of get up to that roll bar a little bit. The vest isn't helping out that figure at all being in there. But this is concern. Check this out. The figure in the back, seated normally, without being crunched down or having his neck turn, does not clear this stuff. So I think that it could have been set a little bit higher to prevent that. Now, I'm going to give this a break, and I'm going to try a second figure because this is a custom figure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put rock and roll back there because I think that's what they used in their pictures. And I'm just going to sit him in the vehicle just like I would normally. I'm not going to like twist him or twist his head or anything like that. I'm not going to try to push him to sit uncomfortably. I'm going to put him in a seated position and put the gun next to him just like it was. And you know what? He sticks up, especially with his helmet, and that little missile launcher will not rotate because it hits his helmet. So you will have to do some manipulation and make them sit uncomfortably in that chair, super low, crouched down, just to get that missile launcher to go in a full circle. Now, that is a little bit of an issue, but I think I can live with it. I think that, you know, if I'm doing stop motion and stuff, it's like one frame at a time, so I can work around that. At least it doesn't hit Roadblock's head when I'm moving that thing around. That is pretty cool. So the two guys in the front seat are totally good. It's just that one figure in the back where the helmet gets stuck on that little piece when you're trying to rotate it. And then the heads of the other two figures don't really go below that little roll bar, so that is a little bit of an issue. And then you got this other little piece that I just figured out what it was for. It is to go on the hitch, so you can hitch something up and tow it with this vehicle. Okay, so the one thing I like to do is just compare it. So I threw this up with the VAMP because I think they're pretty similar in size. And if you have a VAMP, then you can see that this is how this vehicle, the Jungle Hound, compares to that VAMP. So I think they got about the same sort of footprint, where they're about the same width and they're about the same length. So I think these two vehicles are super comparable to each other. But I think this vehicle looks really, really cool. Now, here's another issue I found. You can see that that tire rubs a little bit on those two little things. And when you pull this backwards, right at the end, you could see where the tire stops rotating. That's because it's getting stuck on that little peg. So little filing or something. And then, of course, here is the other issue. It's this thing will not rotate because it bumps into the head. So those are a couple of the flaws that I think with this Jungle Hound. And it could just be QC on this one. I don't know how other ones are, but I think overall, I think it looks pretty cool. And you know what? I'm pretty happy with it. So let's take a look at the boxing. So it did come with this shipper box, and inside I was super impressed because I've never had a Gridiron Studios thing come in a box. So it came in this really cool Gridiron Studios box, and I thought, wow, they went all out with this thing. Then I realized this box is for the 1/12 howitzer. So then I thought to myself, why wouldn't they just make a box for the Jungle Hound? That doesn't make any sense to me. Because when I was looking at this box, I honestly thought that they shipped me the wrong item. I thought I was going to open this up and see a 1/12 scale howitzer. So I think that they had these boxes for that, and maybe they just have them left over and figured, oh, the car will fit in it. But anyways, when you open it up, it looks really cool because it's got like some packing peanuts and everything's individually wrapped here. You can see the tires were wrapped in this nice little plastic. They even say Gridiron Studios on there for the tires. It came with all the weapons and the gas cans and stuff like that, the accessories that go on the thing. And this is kind of half the fun of the vehicle, right? Is like getting all the parts out, putting it together, and assembling the vehicle. So it was a lot of fun putting it together and getting my figures in for the first time. And the fact that they had everything individually wrapped just looks fantastic. And peeling that plastic back for the first time was actually really, really cool because, you know, a brand new action figure vehicle packaged up, and of course in this box somewhere is the Gridiron Studios sticker. So that's a nice little bonus to go with the box, and I was really impressed that it came with a box because I've never seen that before. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And as always, everybody, have a fantastic day.